up-close video for you today looking at the brand new Beautiful Basket or Basket Beautiful die sets from Tonic. I'm going to try and make this quite a quick video because it's really hot at the moment and it's too hot to be in here filming without the window open or the fan on. But I've got a few, well, a couple left that I haven't assembled yet, so I'll do the construction bit at the end of the video and make that a separate video like I usually do with these kind of three-dimensional up-close videos. And so this is a really cool set of dies. I think it's going to come out as 4 different die sets. One that gives you the bases and the handles. This creates the handle of your basket, and you can create an octagonal, hexagonal or square basket from this set. You can also do a pentagonal one, and I'm sure you could do a heptagonal one as well. You just have to create your own base for them, but I've done a 5-sided one to show you as well. And then, so you get the base set, and then I think the idea is that you could just buy one of the other sets if you wanted to, or you can buy all 3 of them. But basically you're getting 3 different sized sides, so different heights of baskets that it'll make, and I think they're going to be called Alto, Medio and Picolo. And so this is the smallest one, which I presume is the Picolo. And you've got a cool like actual basket weave for this one and this gorgeous butterfly. And you see here this weird sort of shape that's sticking out on the sides. This is a design feature that you can have poking outwards on the baskets, or you can cut one off one side and use this as a glue tab and just create a more of a less fussy looking basket if you want to. And also this one is really clever because this top part, you might be thinking, why on earth do I want that weird flap bit coming up the side of the basket when the side's only this tall? Well, you cut your pieces like this, and then once you've cut them, you take either the butterfly, the basket top, or this gorgeous flower, and you line it straight up with the die cut. If I show you closely, you see this notch here, there's one on each side, and when you've die cut that, and then you place this die over the top, it perfectly lines up with the metal of this die, so you get perfect continuation of the cut line for all 3 of these extra designs that go on top of it, which is brilliant. Then we have the Medio one, which is this side. So you get this sort of medium-sized one. It's got a the sort of decorative side pieces go upwards a bit more, so if you're using one of these as a glue flap, you can either leave that poking up, or you can snip it off to give it just a flush top all the way around. You get this gorgeous intricate panel in this one. This one you actually get different different edges for the sides. This one you only get that one straight edge, but this one you get a straight edge, and you get the straight edge pieces to decorate these side decorative pieces that can stick out, and you also get a roughly edged one and a few nesting ones that you can use this Easter egg pattern inside them. You then get the scalloped version for the side pieces, and you get the actual scalloped main panel as well. I really love this sunflower. I've used it on one of the smaller baskets that I've made, and you also get this little tag that says made with love on it, which I've used on one of them as well. And these side panels coordinate with the sunflower because they've sort of got a leaf pattern in them, and these side panels coordinate with this more geometric pattern because they carry on the same pattern onto them as well. And also these nesting ones you can use with the big main sized ones as well, and create a cool matte and layered side to your box too, which I'll show you. And then we have the Alto one, which is the largest basket side, which gives you a much taller basket, and you have 3 different panels that you can put in there, but you just have the one straight side for them. You have this one that says a basket full of joy, which is really pretty, and then you have a sort of Hessian crisscrossy kind of pattern. And you also have the sort of coordinating inside pieces that decorate the sort of poking out parts. And these, this one has holes around it, which you can actually use to tie a ribbon around the basket. So the one I've done, I did a 4-sided one, and I actually just took two holes, tied them together to sort of change the shape of the basket. But if you did the 6 or 8-sided one, having a ribbon that runs around the perimeter of the basket and then tied in a really gorgeous bow would look really pretty, and you can make use of those holes doing that as well. And then you also have this gorgeous damask pattern, which I've used on one of mine that I'm sort of turning into a kind of a plant pot thing. Makes the plant pot look prettier on your windowsill. And then you also get the sort of patterns that coordinate with that to go on these sticky out decorative parts as well. And then on all of them you have this base tab, which obviously then you attach adhesive to, and the bases fit on that perfectly. And you have in the base die set, it's the straight edge outside one of each size, which is the actual base, and then you have mat and layers as well, which you might think, why do you need them, because you're not going to see the bottom of the box, but you can also decorate the inside of the basket, and these are great for sort of hiding the glue tabs, because if you stick the bottom on the bottom, the glue tabs are going to be visible inside, but if you then use the next size down to cut a piece of patterned paper or another piece of card, it's going to make the bottom really sturdy, and it's going to cover up those glue flaps as well. And then this is the piece to make the basket's handle, which I will also show you in my construction parts. So both of the constructions that I'm going to do on the end of this video are for the 6-sided ones. And it's showing you a couple of the different heights. One is showing you how you can make the lumpy bits stick outwards to make a decorative element, and the other one is showing you how you can just use the lumpy parts as a glue tab. You just cut the same one off of all of the sides, and then you just use the other one as a glue tab to stick them all together. Yeah, so I will get on with the construction of those boxes for you. Okay, so I've got 2 different sizes to show you for the construction, and I've tried to put quite a bit of it together. They're really quick to put together, but I've put quite a bit of it together just because it's really hot at the moment and I don't want to be filming for too long. And plus, my last one of these videos was really, really long, so I thought maybe trying to make this one shorter would be better. So, there are 2 different ways you can make these. I will show you the way they're intended to be made first. So I'll put that one back up there so we don't get confused. So the way they're intended to be made is so that these decorative pieces stick outwards and stick back to back like this as the gluing mechanism to keep them all together. And then once you've created your basket, you have this really pretty sort of design feature that sort of gives it more of a curved shape rather than a flat-sided basket. And also, whilst I'm just showing you this one, so I've put 5 of the sides together here, and I actually did a pentagonal one. You only get the bottoms to do 4-sided, 6-sided, 8-sided, but you can make it pentagonal or heptagonal as well if you want to. The way you do that is you would have your 5 or 7 sides and you'd stick them together, then you sort of hold it so it's in the sort of regular pentagon or heptagon shape, and remove all of the tape from the bottom, and then literally plonk it onto a piece of cardstock, push the tabs down so they're all stuck, and then you just take a long bladed pair of scissors and snip right up to the edge of the bottom of the box. And that is exactly how I created the base for this one, which is 5-sided, which you don't get in the die sets. So it's really easy to make it a different number of sides. You might even be able to do it triangular actually as well. I just thought it would make quite a small box, so I didn't try triangular. But yeah, I think a triangular one would work as well actually. So you could do it triangular too, and doing the same method for the base as well. So anyway, back to the actual construction. Sorry if I've confused anybody, but this is the basic construction. So for a 6-sided one, you need to cut 6 of the side, and you want to decorate them as well. And for this one I've also added on some, I think it's called blushing red, from the new Merry and Bright collection, Nouveau drops within the pattern as well. And you want to obviously do all of these ahead of time, leave them all flat to dry so that the drops stay nice and flat. So you need 6 of them, and you want all of them decorated, so all of the side pieces you want to be decorated if you're doing this one where they stick outwards. You also need your base, which again is using the largest of the layering dies that you get in the base set for the size that you want. Then you can take the next size down of layering die and cut it in a patterned paper to line the inside of the basket once we've finished it. And again, similarly, you can also add your patterned papers to the back of the pieces as well, so then we're going to have a completely lined basket when it's all together. And when you're doing the one where the pieces stick outwards, it's fine to stick all of these on now, because there's not going to be any glue tabs that we need to sort of hide behind them. If you think about it in advance more, you can actually hide where you attach the handle to the basket behind these pattern paper panels as well if you want to. I've sort of forgot for this one, so they're not going to be hidden, but you can hide it behind the pattern paper panel as well. So, oh yeah, you also want to create your handle too, so you're going to need 2 of the handle pieces, and this is actually cutting the solid one and then the solid one with the patterning and sticking them on top of each other. Then to get them to be a nice handle shape, you can see this one's got a curve but this one is still straight, you just want to take a bone folder or a card creaser and just run it along the handle like this, and then that's going to create that sort of more handle-like shape. And then to attach them in the middle, all I've been doing is taking the wide red line tape from Tonic, just cutting a little rectangle of it off, sticking it on the end of one of these handle pieces, and the thinner end is where they join, the fatter end is where they stick to the basket. And then I've literally just been putting them together, squeezing that nice and tightly, and then that is your handle. You can also hide this join if you want to. You could decorate with some die cut flowers or something, or for this one I was keeping with a sort of rusticy theme, and I actually just tied some like garden twine, baker's twine kind of stuff around it to hide that join, but on this one I actually left it, and I think it looks fine just to leave it as well. So you can do whatever you want to with the handle. So we'll come back to that once the basket is assembled, but I just wanted to show you how you put that together. So you can see here I've done most of the joining of the basket, but I've left this last one to do to show you where the adhesive goes, because the first ones I made, and I made them with the pieces sticking outwards, I put double-sided tape on both of these, but you don't need it on both of them because this one is going to attach to the previous one. So you only need to put adhesive on one side of these. So I've kept it uniformly just to the right hand side for these ones so I didn't get confused. So you want to put it on the back of the flap, on the right hand side of it, and then also on the bottom flap as well. And that makes sure that you're not wasting adhesive, because the first one I did I was like, oh, now I've got tape on tape. So yeah, you really don't need to put it on both of the tabs. Then folding wise, you want to fold the bottom tab towards you, and then you want to fold these two away from you so they're sticking outwards like they will be in the final basket as well. Then easy peasy to stick it together, you just want to remove the red liner tape. I've just been using a 3mm one because I've pretty much run out of the 6mm one, so I've just added a few strips of 3mm, but whatever red liner tape you have, or you can use wet glue and leave it pegged so that it dries nicely as well. And then all you want to do is just line up those two outside pieces, or you can line it up with the score line inside, whichever you find easiest. And so there we have all 6 panels together, and then for the last one we're obviously just going to join it that way as well. So they are really simple and quick and easy to put together, but I just wanted to get part of it done so I'm not sitting here in the hot for too long. And so we'll get the last one put together. So that is now the basis for our hexagonal basket that has the pokey out portions on it. This one doesn't have holes in it. The largest size has holes already in it, so you can actually thread stuff like all the way around the basket, and the smallest one also has, well, it has a decorative pattern which I suppose you could thread ribbon through as well if you wanted to, but this one doesn't have the holes. But you could easily use a hole punch or a crocodile to punch some holes in it if you wanted to as well. Then for the bottom, at first I struggled with getting the bottom on the larger ones, especially the 8-sided ones. I was struggling, but I found a better way of doing it. So you want to take off the tape for a couple of the sides. This is the best way I've found for doing it, but I'm sure when you watch the shows on Create and Craft, I'm sure Jodie will have different tips for you as well. But the way I was doing it was just taking your shape and then sticking it on that one side first and pressing that one down nicely, and then moving around to the other one you've already taken the tape off of and pressing that one down nicely. Then I removed the tape off the next two, because originally I was doing the 8-sided one and I tried to take the tape off 4 of them and line it up, but it wasn't lining up very nicely, so I found that this is the easiest way to get a nice alignment on the base of the basket. Oh, I took it off one. I wondered why it wasn't sticking. So at this point you can probably take it off the last 3, and to stop it from sticking where you don't want, you can just bend these ones inside more. So once you've taken the tape off, if you bend them more towards the inside and have your hand inside pushing the base upwards, it stops them from sticking in the wrong places, which is great. And then we literally just want to go like that, and I am pushing from the inside to get that tab to stick nicely in place. And so you're just pulling the base round and lining up those tabs to get it to stick perfectly. So now you have a perfect regular hexagonal basket. So that was really easy to do, especially when you do it that way. And then for the base on the inside, you can see that because we've done it this way, you can see all the glue tabs within the inside. So that's why you get the nesting dies for the bases. So you can add another one inside to cover all of those glue tabs. You can even add a second one in there as well, depending on what your design is for your overall basket. You can add as much as you want to in there. And also, as well as making these stick outwards, or making it so there's nothing sticking out on the joints, you can also add the handle or not add the handle as well. You could probably even add 2 handles if you wanted to make some kind of dangly element that dangled inside the basket if you wanted to. So there's lots of different things that you can do with it. So let's just place that one in there. So that's our finished lined basket. And then for the handle, as I said before, if you think about it, you can hide the handle underneath these inside panels, or you can stick it on the outside as a design feature. I think I like it on the outside actually. So I'm going to stick this one going on the outside of this. And you can do this with double-sided tape like the red liner tape, or you can actually just use a little bit of foam tape. So I'm going to use a bit of foam tape for this one, just to do something a little bit different. And obviously you want to do them opposite each other as well. I mean, for a hexagonal one, you could have 3 handles and have something dangling in the middle. Depending on what you want to use this for, it could just be a decorative piece. It doesn't actually have to be a functional basket if you don't want it to be. Or, similarly, you could create lots of the square ones, not put the handles on, and have them as little pen pots on your desk as well. Or for, you could organise your Aquaflows in one of them, your Nouveau glitter pens in another one. There's lots of different things that you can use these for. So that is a 6-sided one with the panels sticking outwards on it, and it's completely decorated. You could add a flower or something to hide that join on there. You can add whatever embellishments or decorations you want to create a more fussy basket or a more simple basket as well. So now we want to do the other 6-sided one. I don't know why I ended up with 2 6-sided ones left, but I did. So for this one, we are not using the decorative portion. So on the smallest one, the Picolo, these pieces, you would actually stick 2 of them together, and, oh, that's the wrong side, but you would stick the 2 of them together and they would stick out like this. So as I was saying, this is more of a decorative piece with the diamonds, but you could run a ribbon around the basket as well if you wanted to. So for this one, when you're doing the pieces, you want to cut your actual basket piece, but stick with the same side of your panels and chop it off so it's flush. And then we're going to be using this as a glue tab. Because this one had the diamonds cut out of it, I've actually stuck the adhesive on the inside of the other side of the panel, and then you want to put the adhesive for the bottom of the box as well. And also for this one, when you're decorating the inside, because we're sticking this onto here, we want to stick our decorative pieces for the inside on after we've already stuck all of the panels together. Otherwise, if I'd already stuck that on and then joined this, you would see that part inside. You might want to see it, but for this basket I didn't want to see it. So yeah, it's basically exactly the same process, but instead of sticking two of these together outwards, we're using that as a glue tab and sticking it right up flush against the previous one, and you can just use that score line to get them up against each other. And what else was I going to say? Oh yeah, so for this one, this piece doesn't stick up above the height of the side of the basket, so we're fine just leaving them whole. But for some of them, like this one we just did, if I'd used these as glue tabs like I did on this four-sided one, you have this piece that sticks up above the basket. For this one I left it because I thought it looked quite nice, but for the five-sided one, which also uses this side, I actually snipped them off, so you got a clean edged basket as well. So there's obviously hundreds of different ways of using them. So to finish off this basket, we want to take the tape off the inside of this one and join this around there, and then we want to finish lining the inside of this basket as well. For any of the ones you make, you can do this inside lining last if you want to, especially if you want to hide your basket handle behind them as well. But I just found I wanted to, get as much prepped as I could, so just makes it a bit easier for me if I've already half done it. So really easy to line them up inside, and I've just been using double-sided tape, but you can use wet glue or whatever you like to use. So then we're going to stick that one in. Can you see? You can't really see what I'm doing. So I'm just lining it up with the bottom three edges. I think you can kind of see. And then pressing it down just to give you that nice difference on the inside. And then for that one we're going to have the black bottom inside it as well. So to do the bottom of the box, I'm going to do what I did in the last one, because this is six-sided again, and take the tape off of two of them, and then bring this in. It's a hexagon again because it's six-sided, and line it up, and then pull it round and line that one up, then take the tape off. I'll do it the same way as before actually. Doing it two, then one, then all three of the others at the same time seemed to work quite well. Oh, no, I can't get the line tape. Okay, so that's that one, and then I'll take all of these ones off together. So I'll start over here, and again I'm doing what I said in the last construction, where I'm sort of using my fingers to poke the bottom upwards and pull the sticky flap downwards inside, so it's not going to stick where I don't want it to. And then the last one. Okay, so now we're going to pull that round, stick that one on, and then the last one as well. So they're really, really simple to put together. And if you do the octagonal base just like that, doing them one or two tabs at a time, it's really easy to get that one to go on nicely as well. And then we're going to stick this one on the inside of the basket. Just to cover up all of those glue tabs that we can see from attaching the bottom. You can get that a bit more centered if when you do it. But and then so for this one I used the basket top flap, and these are designed, I think, to just stay upright like that, but I was sort of bending them inwards a little bit. They don't quite cover the circumference of the box, but they're sort of just like a nice basket weave design feature, and I'm not sure how to do the handle on this one, whether to maybe attach it to two of these. Yeah, I might do it like that actually. So again, this one's curved, this one's flat. The way to curve it is just to take your bone folder or card creasing tool and just curl it like curling ribbon. And again, take a little rectangle of that wide red liner tape, stick it to the top of one of them on the thin end, and then attach the other one onto it, just like that. And then that will go inside here, and I think I am going to stick it on the inside of these pieces, so I'm going to use that wide red liner tape again this time, and add a piece onto the large tabs at either end of the basket handle. And then just put one, I'm going to line it up where I folded it, I think, and then one on the other side as well. So there, now we have that little basket too, which is really pretty. And obviously these would be perfect for Easter time because they kind of look like Easter baskets, but obviously you can use baskets any time of year. You could have handmade truffles you've made. You could just make a box of celebrations look way more fancy and expensive by tipping them into here. Even like you know, like Sainsbury's or Tesco's versions of celebrations and stuff, when they just have solid coloured wrappers, just putting them in something like this as well is really cool. Yeah, so that is the construction of the Basket Beautiful. I think that's what they're going to be called, and I've shown you the Medio and Picolo heights from them, and I've done two six-sided ones, and the Alto height is this much taller. So if I show you them like this, you can see that height difference. Difficult to show them against each other, but you can see the height difference between them, which is really nice. Okay, so now we've constructed those two, I thought I'd show you some of the other ones that I've made. I think I have 7 altogether, and show you the differences in the sizes of them as well. Because look at the enormous size that the octagonal one comes out at. When I put this one together, I was like, wow, that is a really decent sized basket. So you've got octagonal, the hexagonal, then I made a pentagonal one, and then you can have a square one as well. So you could make them all to fit inside each other. If you did them all the same height, you could have you can even do a triangular one as well. You triangular, square, pentagonal, hexagonal, heptagonal, and octagonal. You can probably even do 9-sided as well. Again, making your own base, 10-sided, 11-sided. As long as the piece of A4 card is big enough, you know, to make a bottom for it, and you know, you can make them as big as you want. Yeah, so I wanted to show, I've done this one too, so I wanted to show all the different ones that I have done because I haven't filmed making any of these. So I've done this 4-sided one, which is using the Medio sized one, and I used that gorgeous sunflower panel on the side, and I just literally used Aquaflows to watercolour them in, and I cut 2 of the scalloped panels from watercolour card, and then I cut the intricate design into one of them, stuck them together, and then watercoloured them that way. And then I've also lined the inside of the basket as well, and hidden the handle behind the paper that's lining it. And also this is the it's the Medio one, and I didn't use the pieces sticking outwards, I used them as glue tabs, and then I left the little pieces sticking up over the top. Then another 4-sided one, I did a basket of joy, and I used just that on one side, and I used the sort of Hessian basket pattern on the others, and I also decorated the sticky out portions as well, and I lined the inside with some of the foiled craft card, and I also added on, so I cut this craft card and then layered the intricate panels also in craft card on top, and then I came back in with some Indian gold Nouveau mousse. and put a bit of that all over it to sort of pick out the details as well. And I also used a little bit of twine to hide that join on the handle, and these holes are designed so that you could thread a ribbon all the way around your basket. But with the four-sided one, I thought it would be really cool just to have little bows on the two sides opposite each other. So I did that for this one, and it kind of makes it look more garden-y because it's got the garden twine and stuff. You know, you could give somebody a few packets of seeds in here, like carrots and broccoli and all that kind of stuff. You could just place some packets of seeds and give that as a really nice gift to someone who loves gardening. Then I've done a five-sided one. So four-sided one is like that, and then five-sided one you have to create your own bottom, but I briefly explained that earlier on in the video, how to do that. And this one I did lots of layering with the side panels, and again this is the Medio one, and I again put the pieces inwards using them as glue tabs rather than sticking outwards, but this time I did snip those pieces off of the top of the basket as well, and it's much easier to do that when the whole thing is flat as well. So I did that for this one, and it's just sort of a bit more masculine, but you could use this as a pen pot. I was thinking, like, I've got some aquaflows here, you know, if you put enough in there, be a nice little pen pot to have out on your desk as well. Or you could do square ones, and you know, you could split your supplies up into smaller amounts, putting them in square ones. Or you could have hexagonal ones, and you could have them on your desk in like a honeycomb pattern and have all your different things organised in them, or square ones next to each other with all the things organised in them as well. Then six-sided ones, I just showed you both of them, putting them together, and I did do them both as baskets with the handles. And then the eight-sided ones, I've actually put a handle on neither of them. I don't know why, I just decided when I was planning my ideas that I wasn't going to put a handle on them. But this one, I love this one, this is my favourite one. This is using the Picolo sides, which is the shortest side, and I use that gorgeous butterfly, and I use the butterfly top piece as well, and this is just the textured card from Craft Perfect, and it's actually standing up really well to just being cut up here as well. So you could add acetate behind that, snip around the butterflies, or vellum or something to make them a bit more sturdy, but or you could even cut them again from card, and so you have two pieces of card where the butterflies are to make them more sturdy. I did also stick some gems on them. I'm not sure if you can see. I put a few on this one and 3 down the body, and then I also brought that down to the butterfly down here. And this is just, yeah, it's all using Craft Perfect, so I just picked out a rainbow of colours, and I did one panel in each colour, because usually when I'm planning out a box, I'm like, I've got to make sure I've got enough card to make all of the sides of it, but I thought, why not do them in different colours? So I did for this one, and I gave it a white bottom and a white on the inside, and then to tie the white in, I layered the butterfly panels, which I'd cut out of the same card as the actual base. I layered them onto a piece of white card that I'd covered in double-sided adhesive, and then once I'd stuck them on, there was obviously adhesive left, so I actually added some ice white glitter into them as well. And then for this final one, I used that gorgeous intricate design, and I thought this, if you added some plastic in here, like a plastic bag maybe, or even some cellophane, what a lovely way to present someone with a house plant, like just putting it inside this to make it look really special. Like, say you've just gone to Sainsbury's and bought one, you know, take it out of the cellophane that they give it in, put a plastic bag around it so none of the water's gonna leak into the pot, and then give someone a really nice house plant in it. I thought that was cool. And then again, I've decorated the inside as well, and I brought that copper onto the inside by giving it the copper in the bottom of it as well. And actually, if you were really worried about the water seeping in, you could create this whole thing again and place it inside it, but create it from acetate, so it would definitely be waterproof with inside there as well. So those are the ones that I did. I've had great fun playing with all these actually, and they're really, really easy to do. The way I was doing it is I was picking out what panels I wanted to use, what size and the colours and things, and then I would sit there and hold the panel up to the pieces of card and cut a piece of card that's the right size, cut 8 of them, and obviously 8 of the inside panels and all the bits I needed, have them off to the side, and then I've just been standing here die cutting loads, and then I've sat down and finished assembling them all. So they've been pretty quick to make as well, which is nice. So I hope you enjoyed this up close video. It's a bit shorter than my usual ones because it's really hot and I now want to open the window. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one, as I'm sure there will be many more to come. So thank you for watching, and I hope you like the baskets. All the links will be below in the description as well. So thank you for watching. Bye!